I don't see the.
I just hit it.
Okay.
Now I got them looking at me everywhere that we go. I felt like I hit it big, like in the casino. It was one point in my life I couldn't get a C-note. I feel I'm on top of my game now. Should I go cut me a chain now? I'ma just stick to the script like a movie, letting these blessings rain down. Keeping it real, I don't want no confusion. This is the way it came out. Most of these rappers, they live in illusion. That is the shit I came out. Yeah. See me, I'm running my race. This is a marathon. This is a gym I can chase. I feel like a Rolls Royce. You see the look on my face. I'ma just move at the rate. Tell them to move out the way. Yeah. I just can't imagine it being no other way. They ask what I've been doing. Tell them trying to catch a plane. Focused on the wrong things, and I'm just here to say, ain't no stopping where I'm going. Got to get up on my way. Got to get up on my way. Get up on my way. Get up on my way.
Joint so fresh, you gotta Shazam it.
Coming through loud and clear.
It's Power 102 Jam.
It's our perspective. When perception comes to truth, respecting you won't lose. Right or wrong is what you choose. Perspective. It's just the point of view, the odds and the outcome, based on how you move. It's all perspective. When perception comes to truth, respecting you won't lose. Right or wrong is what you choose. Perspective. It's just the point of view, the odds and the outcome, based on how you move. The odds and the outcome based on how you move. He said the odds and the outcome based on how you move.
You move.
Not how they
move,
but how you move.
You move.
Welcome to Perspective217. We back in the building.
Yes, sir.
February 2nd, 2023.
2023.
Already, right? Already. We up in this joint, man. It's been a little minute for us. We had a lot of life stuff going on, you know what I mean, on both sides of the table. So we had to kind of take a little short break. But it's a lot. Little pause, right? You know what I mean? But we back and we bringing it. Man, somebody should have told me my beard wasn't all the way right here. I see.
That's all right, baby. It's beard culture. You know what I'm saying? You good.
Yes, sir. It's beard culture. I need to put the beard butter in.
Ash. What up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But so we back in this joint, man. And Kel, I'm gonna ask you, how's it been?
Man, here we are, man. I don't know what year this is, my brother. Is this 4 or is this fourth year or is this the 5th year?
Technically, it would be the 5th year, but I think we got 4 years of shows.
Okay. So 4 years of show. We're in a brand new year, 2023. We took a short break, but life happens, and I think everybody had to kind of get through everything, with the COVID and just life in general, man. So glad that we are back on the airwaves, man. Our Power 102 jams, our hits 107.3, the beat fam. So it's DJ Soup, what's up, man? So it's great to be back on the show, man. We wanted to come and speak to you all today because, of course, we took a little hiatus, but long story short, man, hey, I'm here. There's a lot of it going on. I definitely want to say something real quick before we dive into our topics, man. I want to give a shout out to King Kendall. As a family, man, we kind of went through some things. I'm not gonna go into detail about that, but I definitely want to send love and support to King Kendall. And for those who know King Kendall, you know what it is. Down in WKU, our son is down there playing football. So keep your head up. We love you and support you, man, and we got your back. So with that being said, though, man, hey, life is what it is, man. 10 toes down, man. Let's keep this thing rolling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On my end, man, it's been busy, like crazy. Still in school, still doing that school thing, doing a little part-time gig thing. I can't do too much. These limbs, man, they didn't got to the point to where they like sit your down, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I enjoy what I do, you know what I mean? And those who know me, they know what I do right now. So, and I enjoy it. I do a little part-time and enjoy every minute of it, you know, great benefits.
Yeah, man. Did you have a little record little day, man? You was only there for like 2 weeks, man, and coming in and busting the thing down, man, with
record sales, man. Yeah. So okay, I'll bring it out. So I work at Ralph Lauren, the outlet out here in Polo Ralph Lauren, and like, man, first week, I was like top sales, like I had like 11.5, you know what I mean, in sales in a day, which was crazy because I haven't been in sales in forever, right? You know what I mean, since St. Louis Center, you know, Oak Tree.
Wow.
Sales, like I mean, it's been a minute, right? I mean, I feel like we sell ourselves, especially in the profession that we were in.
Absolutely.
We sold the idea of community relations. We sold the idea of a better way of doing things. You know what I mean? We didn't try to force people to do it. We tried to sell them, you know, we tried to influence them, which is a way of selling. You know what I mean? When we was facilitating meetings, when we was doing the hostage negotiation, we were selling an idea. We were selling a dream. So I've been in sales. It's just not selling a product per se, right? You know what I mean? It seemed like that's my life, what I've been in. So it came natural. You know what I mean? I got in there and got it done, man. But we got a lot of house projects going on. You know, what you see behind me, man, is an idea, is an image of a product that is current at the crib right now. This is not mine. The one that you see back there, this is the idea that we got it from. And it's a family member of mine's. If you want to say who he is, he'd come on and say it later. But it's dope. You know what I mean? And for those who come visit and see me, man. But so, Kale, it's been a lot going on. I mean, we're here in the month that they recognize us. Even though, you know, to me, you know what I mean, every day is Black History, right? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But this is the month that they recognize us. You know, these 28 days this year, you know what I mean? I think it's be 29, I think next year. I think every 4 years, I think it's 29 days. But we're in this month, and there's a lot of stuff going on with the Super Bowl. Let's kind of touch on that. Something a little lighter, right, before we dive into the heart-wrenching stuff. First time ever having two African-American quarterbacks playing against each other in the Super Bowl.
Well, ain't that crazy?
Ever.
If you sit back and think about that, bro, how crazy is that? Two African-American quarterbacks playing in the Super Bowl. It's 2023. What's going on?
Well, I mean, you know, we just had a first African-American quarterback. I mean, not quarterback, but president. My mind is on the quarterback thing. And now we got the first two quarterbacks that's going to play together. First time that two brothers, the Kelsey people.
Yeah. Tight end, and I think his brother's isn't he O lineman or a D lineman?
He's a O lineman.
O lineman, okay.
Yeah, tight end and O lineman. So they're playing together. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting Super Bowl, man. I mean, I for more reasons than just being I'm a Bears fan. So my team's at home waiting on this number one pick.
Oh yeah, trust me, I ain't got no dog in the fight either. So
so it's just going to be an interesting game, right?
Yeah.
I think Philly gonna pull it off, but everybody else think Kansas City gonna pull it off. Whatever, right?
That's it. That's interesting that you say that, man, because you know, with all the injuries that have happened in the season, man, you know, it's just amazing how sports medicine technology nowadays, man, is so essential, man, because, you know, I mean, if you think about 10 years ago, man, you know, somebody who, suffered that elbow injury that Brock Purdy did, even though he's out 6 months, man, he would be done. You know, like that's right. It in a career. You know, pack your bags, you out of here. So, you know, he's scheduled to come back in 6 months. Then you got, Jalen Hurts, man, who suffered a leg injury, man. He played last week. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Patrick Mahomes, man, suffered the high ankle injury, man, and here he is. He playing crazy. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
so it's good to see, man. You know, sports medicine and technology, man. You know, at its best to be able to get these premier players back in these games, man. Because without them, you know, it would kind of be lackluster, so to speak, as far as the competition. Because you know, Patrick Homeboy is coming. You know what I'm saying? He gonna do his thing, whether he on one leg or one knee, he coming to slang a thing, man. But don't sleep on your boy Jalen Hurts, man. You know what I'm saying? I think the Eagles, man, is a powerhouse, man, with that defense. They got Jalen Hurts back, man, controlling the O. Man, I don't know, man. You know, a lot of I'm kind of in the Chiefs household right here, right? But I understand, you know what I'm saying, like when you look at the talent, you know what I'm saying, on paper, I mean, you know, defense wins games, man. So we'll see, man. I just wanted to be competitive. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be kind of one of those blowouts or whatever. So I just wanted to be a good game from beginning to end, you know, and you know, you just kind of enjoy the competition. But yeah, I think Philadelphia's gonna pull it out as well too. So
yeah. Now I mean, you know, we got Soup, you know, from Philly area, Jersey, and then Mo. He ain't from Kansas City, but he claimed it, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, big Chiefs fan.
Right. You know what I mean? He heck of a Chiefs fan, though. I mean, he believe in him when they ain't got no hope.
Yeah.
Act like he out there coaching, but you know what I mean? That's just what he do, get exhausted. So that all kind of comes around to it being Black History Month, right? You know what I mean? The month that they give.
Oh, wait. Before we dive in that, man, let's not forget the NBA, right? Because we're getting ready to come up into the All-Star game, right? So I would have specifically throw this out to you, man, because I know, you know, you're a Chicago Bulls fan, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Chicago Bears fan. So, you know, and of course, you know, I'm a LeBron fan, Lakers fan. So I seen something today, man, with a possible blockbuster trade. I don't know how official this is, but I don't know if you've seen this, man. But apparently, there's been conversations to basically trade Zach LaVine, Lonzo, and somebody else to the Lakers for Russell, Pat Bev, and I think like a couple of draft picks, man. Which, you know, that I don't know, man. The Lakers have shown kind of up and down progress. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't been anything consistent. They've been hurt, but if you get LaVine there and then Lonzo ain't played ball in, man, almost close to 2 years. So I don't know how effective he's going to be. But I don't know, man. You know, we'll see. But I know for sure, you know, the Chicago Bulls are definitely they're on rebuild stage. So they try to fold up, man, and look for that first round pick, I guess. So I don't know.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
They're a little bit behind them Thunder, you know, them Thunder boys out here in OKC, right?
Yeah.
Because they got a stud, right? I mean, out here, I forget his name. He got like 3 names. But dude is stud, man. I mean, he can ball. Like, he just ain't got no help.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this, man. Who you think coming out of the West? Who you think coming out of the East?
Haven't been watching enough, bro. Yeah. I can't really, you know what I mean? My mind tells me to go to the old traditionals, but you know what I mean? I don't even know who been playing well this year.
And that's the crazy thing, man, because you know, you think that we would be definitely talking, you know, highly on, you know, the Golden State Warriors, man. And they're in a slump right now, man. Like they just lost the other day, and it seems like every time they go to OT, you know, they can't pull out a W, man. So I think they're like maybe like one game over 500, man. So you know, you look at them as being the champions, like, man, like what's going on? Then you got Milwaukee Bucks, you know what I'm saying? They've been kind of playing subpar, but you know, then you got Utah and you got Portland. So it's crazy, man. And then the Nets are kind of resurging themselves, but Boston is playing some ball though, you know what I'm saying? So depending on, you know, shout out to Jason Tatum and all the folks from Blue, but who knows? You know how they do regular season, man. When it comes to playoff season, you know, Jason Tatum kind of, you know, he kind of goes to the accent. Yeah.
Talking about playoffs?
Playoffs, yeah. So we'll see how that goes, bro. We'll see how that goes.
So leading into our culture, for me, it's like we live in 3 different worlds.
Talk about it, brother. Talk about it.
So like what I deem as our culture is I look at it like as an all kind of encompassing, right? You know what I mean? Like the whole of what we do as a culture.
Yeah.
Right. Not necessarily as just a race, but as a culture, right? Because people mimic our culture.
Oh, to the
You know what I
max.
mean? So they sometimes they get it close, sometimes it's way off, and we get memes about it. But it's like I remember when we first started our show, we talked about the younger generation and how they did things. Now, that younger generation we was talking about is in their mid to late 20s now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're a little older, and their idea of culture, what we were looking at then, is even different than the ones that are 16, 17, 15. You know what I mean? Now,
Yeah.
they view. Are we? Are we not? Are we just not passing it down, or is our ability to relate to them so strained that we can't? They don't comprehend what we're saying. We're speaking Portuguese, and they speak uh, Japanese, right? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's what are we missing?
I think it's a little bit of both, bro. You know, we've had multiple conversations about this as far as the youth and kind of the OGs. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You know, we look up, man, and you know, we the OGs now. You see what I'm saying? So now we got the OGGs, and now we're the OGs. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, there's for us, man. You know, we had some kind of reach back, you know, with the OGGs. Wasn't a lot. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? But we you know we were able to have um, you know, great mentors, great father figures. You know, when we were coming up, and not to say that they're not any now.
Right.
It just doesn't seem like that's being highlighted now. You know, it seems like everybody is, you know, hey, I'm gonna do for myself. You know, I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna hustle. You know, I'm gonna be independent. I'm gonna do this. So it doesn't seem as prevalent as it was kind of when we were coming up now. So I don't know, man. I think we are doing a better job culturally as far as trying to bridge that gap, you know, with the OGGs and the OGs and the youth, because we need it, man. You know, like there's, you know, especially with everything going on, man, as far as, you know, basically trying to remove our history, you know, in these schools, as far as the African American curriculum, you know, and you know, just, you know, this whole, you know, CRT kind of, like it, you know, it's just crazy, man, and it's just crazy in 2023, man. You know, we still have to fight for our identity, you know, in 2023, and so doing that, fighting for our identity, as well as kind of, you know, battling with our own is a struggle that Black people have always had, because of the fact that, you know, you can't, you're being a tug of war, you know, you're trying to pick this battle to deal with this, you know, trying to remove you from history, but then all of a sudden, you know, you're trying to get over here to give back, man. So, but I think the conversations now are a little bit better. I think the youth nowadays, man, are more progressive. I think the youth, man, are more focused as far as, you know, making those connections. So I think we're in a good spot, man, and we really need to kind of you know, turn the heat up, so to speak, man, with, you know, with those youth, to be able to, you know, give them those jewels and their flowers while they're here, man, as well as the OGGs and the OGs, man, to be able to kind of collaborate, man, and to kind of bring our race where it needs to be.
Yes, the collaboration, right? Are we speaking the same language though? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Are we really speaking the same language as our 10 to 17-year-olds?
Mm-hmm. I think we are. I think it's just in a different variation. You know what I'm saying? Like when we were shorties, of course, you know, our verbiage, our lingo, you know, our movement was totally different than it is now here in 2023. You know what I'm saying? Is it that different from what's going on now? I mean, yeah, there's different dress styles. You know, there's different philosophies. There's different kind of reactions. You know, cause and effect. Because I think now, man, it seems like people are so ready to react instead of kind of analyze what's going on. You know what I'm saying, and just kind of want to lash out. So you know, I definitely think there's a difference there. But I think you know the goal and the focus is still the same. You know, is to you know fight for the inclusion, fight for you know the equality, man, fight for you know everything that you know um this country, man, is supposed to provide. You know, everybody. You know, if we are citizens, you know, under this great you know paperwork, so to speak, then you know what I'm saying why are we still in 2023 still battling you know with everything that's going on, you know, 400 or 500 years. So you know I think it's definitely going to take a surge from us, you know, and I know we said this on our show, man, a gazillion times, you know, to reach back. We have to reach back in order to, you know, the OGGs and the OGs, we have to reach back and make sure that the youth are being guided in the right way. And it's not about, you know, the fast money and the and you know and the you know and the quick come up, man, which I think a lot of the youth, man, are. Hey man, these young ones, man, are smart, brother. I mean, they, you know, I know we talked about this as far as you know investing and saving and you know and all that stuff. Like we didn't really have those talks, man. But you know because we live in an information age, man, these youth are picking that stuff up, man, and they're running with it. You know whether they're doing these master webinars or you know trying to teach you know wealth building or something, man. So I like that wave, man. You know that's what we have to do is continue that you know that generational wealth wave, man, to kind of you know turn things around.
So I like the fact that you said kind of in inclusion, right? You know, we want to be included, but I think there's different thoughts to that now. It may have always been, but it's more prevalent in being verbalized a lot more now.
Okay.
So I used to hear a lot. You either at the table or you're on the menu, right? That's that being that inclusion, right? You know, being involved and engaged with the movers and the shakers, right? And of the other cultures. But I've been hearing a lot more now is I don't need to be at your table. I'm creating my own table. That's okay. The you know creating our own table is not inclusion, right? You know what I mean? That's you know removing ourselves and putting ourselves over here. Now I'm gonna be 1,000% transparent. I don't know which one's really better.
Yeah.
Because that old saying, you know, you teach a man how, you know, you take a man fishing, you get a meal for a day.
Mm-hmm.
You teach him how to fish, he can feed, you know, his generation.
Right.
Right. You know, because if I'm fishing, I'm not going with you anymore. If I know how to do it, I don't need
right.
I don't need you. Right. But if I'm going with you, okay, yeah, I'm getting a smaller portion.
Yeah. You're learning, you know what I'm saying? You're evolving, you know, when you're going with.
So I'm glad you said so does that mean that we've gotten to the point to where we no longer want to be at the table? You know what I mean? But like we've, you know, a few of us have gotten to the table and played around, and outside group don't necessarily like the way that the person at the table is acting or looking or whatever, right? Because they don't understand the intricate parts because they're not there.
Well, you know that
they look at that person like they've changed or they've become a sellout or you know whatever, right? So you was about to say something.
No, I mean, brother, you know kind of how this is, man. It's always been kind of the you know the conquer and divide. You know what I'm saying? And,
right.
and you know we know very well you know what black folks were, you know, back in the 50s and the 60s. You know, clearly, you know, Black Wall Street,
Right.
you know, was untouchable, you know, until unfortunately
They touched it.
the demise, until they were touched. And so, you know, that forward thinking, I think that, you know, like I said, we have the youth, man. We have younger people who think like that, which you know are now kind of reaching out to the OGs and the OGGs.
Right.
Is it as progressive as it needs to be? Probably not. But you know, we've always been kind of under that mentality, man. That, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna do it for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I can make it, and you know, I can do that instead of, you know, actually connecting, collaborating. You know what I'm saying? Where we actually are building a umbrella of connections. You know what I'm saying? An umbrella of resources to, you know, not to be able to be kind of an individual focus, but you team up, you know what I'm saying, with someone who's wise, or someone who's been through that process, man, to kind of help you not fall in those pitfalls that maybe the next, you know, generation 10 years prior did. So I think that stuff is out there, man. Like there's a lot of stuff, man, that I see, man, on social media, man. Where there are brilliant minds out there, man.
Right.
And it's just, you know, we're battling because, you know, we're battling with the people who want to, you know, like they want the likes, you know what I'm saying? They want to be the famous, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you know, if I can get so many views and likes, then, you know, I made it, compared to, hey, you know, let's really build together as a community. So, and that's kind of, you know, with the social media, internet, man, it's so broad and vast, man. You know, it's like keeping someone's attention, bro, for, you know, other 10 seconds. It's like, what am I going to be able to put out here to catch that mind, to catch that attention for, you know, anybody, not just youth, but anybody, you know, in this day and age, because it's an information overload. You know, you open your phone right now, man, you get like 40 different clips of whatever's going on. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're like, well, I got to scroll through that, man. I got to, you know, delete that. I got to do, like, none of this worthwhile. And then you might find, you know, maybe 2 or 3, you know, videos that you're like, oh, you know, this is worthwhile. But that's the battle that we have, man, being that, you know, that we are in the information age.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, brother, because I know we started off this particular topic talking about the culture, right?
Right.
And here we are, February the 2nd, second day of Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to, you know, to our ancestors and, you know, Black people, you know, white people, Hispanics, Latinos, man, because, you know, when you talk about Black history, you know, everybody wants to go back to the Martin Luther King days, but, you know, it was a collective. You know, it wasn't just Martin Luther King doing things on his own, man. It was a collection of the community. You know, and it was some great people in all races, to raise awareness, you know, for what Dr. Martin Luther King was promoting and you know, trying to get the world to change. I say all that to say this, my brother. How do you feel about the actual Black History Month? And I know we've had this conversation. It's been many years ago that we talked about this, man. But how do you feel about your culture, about your race, your lineage, basically being deemed into 28 days, you know, in the month?
Though I appreciate the sentiment, because, you know, it is a effort to, and it's been an effort to try to make it right without a lot of effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or without a lot of sacrifice. What is being sacrificed these 28 days that's making our culture better? What's being added, other than a lot of shows that should be shown all year round, but being at the forefront this month? A lot of paraphernalia and like a lot of parry and clothing and marketing tools that people who don't look like me are making money off of these items, right? For example, Amazon, the Black Employee Network. I mean, this month is, other people are making money off the clothing that is being purchased.
Right.
Who don't look like me, right? You know what I mean? We're pushing it. We're the pusher.
And we know that revenue is not going to that demographics of employees.
But it ain't coming to us, man. So though I appreciate the sentiment, I mean, it's like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, every day is Black History Month to me.
Absolutely.
Right. You know what I mean? I celebrate the accomplishments of people who don't look exactly. I mean, I say look like me all the time, but that's so general. People who are the same racial demographic as myself, right? Celebrate their accomplishments and their failures, because some of their failures, just like me and you, for instance, you know what I mean. During our time on this earth, almost 50 years here now, we failed so many times and so many different things. But those failures helped somebody else later on. You know what I mean? It wasn't a fail and, oh man, all this stuff happened. It was a failure that led us to accomplish something else.
Right.
And it also taught somebody else not to do it the way we did it, because we're passing that information on, saying, look, you might not want to try this way, right? You know what I mean? I understand you think you different and better, but how about trying this way? You know what I mean? This is what we learned from our failure. You know what I mean? So our the people who came before us, the failures they had, even though people were like, oh, well, that didn't make an impact. How do you know about it then?
Right.
If it didn't make an impact, how do you know about it?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If it didn't quite make an impact, you wouldn't know nothing about it. Regardless of whether it was a huge victory or not, it made an impact. It sparked something. It started something. It was the foundation for something. So I appreciate the sentiment, but don't just say Happy Black History Month to me during this month. That's like, Veterans Day. You know what I mean? You appreciate my service on this day only, right? You know what I mean? There's 364 other days.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And but that's a whole different topic, right? You know what I mean? That's something different. I'm proud to be able to live through a time where it's actually promoted. It's not always valued. I think it's kind of like Memorial Day now. You know, I mean, people go out and grill. They don't really pay attention to why they're out grilling. You know what I mean? All the lives that was lost.
Right.
For that Memorial Day, it ain't about those Dos Equis and the Sapporo's and you know what I mean, that tequila. It ain't about that. And them wings. It's about, remembering those who sacrificed.
Absolutely.
Right. That's kind of the way I feel about Black History, about February. Is it's watered down. It's not even really. People brush it over. Oh, well, you got that month. It's your month now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I totally agree, brother. I mean, like I said, I appreciate the sentiment. I really do. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to have, my grandmother still here, my mom still here, who really live, through those racially tense eras, and to have that, this kind of displayed, this is really for them. You see what I'm saying? Because of, like you said, everything that they experienced, everything they went through, everything that they endured, they survived. You see what I'm saying? And I think the world doesn't understand that. Hey, we are definitely more than a flag. We're definitely, more valuable than a post. We're definitely more important than a meme. Because again, we fight every day, man, to keep our identity, our existence, in this country, man. So, but I'm like you, brother. 28 days is not enough. Every day is Black History Day. You know what I'm saying? Every day that I wake up, I'm gonna be black. Nothing's gonna change. You know what I'm saying? So for me, although it's cool to kind of celebrate that, no other race is really kind of celebrating like that. I mean, like, and that should tell you right there that that if you are deeming a month block, like, let's have the real conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're 2023, man, and they're only pushing the Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? Do you know how many more pioneers? The Marcus Garveys. Like it's a ton of them. But the only thing, the narrative that we only hear is, don't get me wrong, Dr. Martin Luther King was great. Harriet Tubman was great, absolutely. But there's so many other great Black people that have basically survived from the mud. Whether they have invented liquor, or they invented the bedpost, or I mean, George. I mean, you name it, bro. I mean, like, we can probably list this for another show. But the fact of the matter is that you still being somewhat celebrated. But let's have a conversation. Let's really have a conversation as far as, like, making the amends, so that we are really equal, and that we are really at the table, like you spoke earlier about. Let's we are definitely at this table. Matter of fact, we probably built this table. You see what I'm saying? So let's not act like we can't get into these rooms, because it is what it is. And you look around worldly, globally, it's us to the max. So I think that we should probably push forward as far as that, as far as our culture, our lineage, our race. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do more than just Black History Month.
Right. I agree, man. So we're a little more than halfway through the show, and I know a lot of people wanted to hear our perspective about a particular incident that occurred with a young man that is no longer with us due to some careless, I'm just going to leave it at that word right now, actions by some other people who look like us. This I want to ask you this, because, and then I want to answer it as well, because it's a little more, we've in the past few years, we've seen a lot of officers who didn't look like us committing acts against people who did look like us. As a officer and a former officer who is African American, we got the black and blue thing going.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I'm bruised up, just I'm black, and I represent the blue. That's never gonna not be a part of my life. Never not going to be a part of my history.
Right.
How do you, before we start diving into kind of what we observed, does this feel different to you than the other incidents that we've kind of had to answer questions about?
Mm-hmm. Wow. There's so much, man, to peel from this onion, man, and you know, it's like you said, man, being an African American male, um, who is in law enforcement, and the headlines is first thing smoking is, you know, black officers murder, um, you know, an unarmed black male. It was definitely heartbreaking. It definitely felt different. It definitely felt personal.
Right.
You know, it it was heartbreaking. You know, to kind of hear kind of what was going on, and then actually seeing the proof. You know, to kind of back it up, because everybody, you know, everybody's like, "Ah, man, hey, listen, man, you can't guess it, man. You can't, you know, let's wait until everything is brought to light, you know, because that's what we're trained to do, you know what I'm saying? And until we see it, you know, kind of like we stay in reserve until, you know, there's proof to back it, man. And you're right, bro. It felt very, very personal. You know, it was like, you know, your heart sunk, man, when you know, when you looked up and seen kind of the mug shots and the pictures, you know, kind of in disbelief, like what is going on? Like what are you thinking about? You know, like we didn't just go through this for George Floyd. You see what I'm saying? Like even though the people look different, still the same results. And so it was very heartbreaking, man, to look at it, man. And I'll be honest with you, bro, I haven't looked at the video in its entirety. I know me and you looked at it, you know, as far as bits and pieces of it, man, you know,
Right.
for our show and stuff like that previously. But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think I could watch that in its entirety, you know, knowing how things should be and how things happened.
So, as you know, I hadn't watched in its entirety either, but I hadn't really watched the video until today. I heard a lot about it. You know, I've heard a lot of different views on it. I didn't, but all the information I heard didn't prepare me for what I saw. I didn't expect that. I actually expected more of a, God rest his soul, George Floyd circumstance. This was worse than the video I saw when I was a kid of Rodney King. It was, got me stuttering. It's just it's so disturbing. There was anger in those punches. I didn't know that they were. He was the one was swinging who knocked him down, like the one who hit him probably 4 or 5 times, and then one of them caught him and knocked him down in the second encounter, not the first encounter, not the traffic stop.
Yeah,
I understand the adrenaline's pumping. I get that, but if you can't compose yourself, remove yourself. He didn't have a weapon.
nope.
There was 5 of you there. Why are you punching him in the face? Not you know, not kneeing him in the side of the leg to try to make him go down.
No, direct kicks to the head. Yeah.
Not doing a blow to the back of the shoulder to try to get the arm back to do a takedown or anything like that in that manner to gain control. He drew back. I don't know if my camera like this, like I don't even punch like that, right? You know, first off, I haven't punched like that since I was probably 16.
Yeah.
And brought it all the way around and hit this man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no training book on what we witnessed down in Memphis. There's no control tactics that have ever been put in a book as far as the protocol, the policy. There is nothing close to that, man. This was, this was basically a street fight, bro. I mean, this was a mob action, at its best.
That's exactly what I was about to say. That was like what I would see when I saw people get jumped on the strip.
Yeah. Yep. And just by the, I don't know, man, them being in a certain location where, there were cameras to capture this, made it very fortunate that, these guys, because they're not officers anymore, but these former officers get exactly what they deserve. Because there's, and I don't care where you at. I don't care if you're on the East Coast. I don't care if you're on the West Coast, down south. There's nothing in the training book. There's nothing in the curriculum. There is nothing that a controlled tactic, firearms. There's nothing that basically instructs you or trains you to act like that. You see what I'm saying? To basically subdue that force when there was no force. All the force was being brought on by them. You know what I'm saying? There was no threat. He was not armed. You know what I'm saying? It was 5 against 1, and I think he weighed maybe about his mom said $150.
And they had a hold of him, bro.
Oh yeah.
They had his wrist, elbow area. They had his forearm area. You are striking a unarmed, unprotected human being.
Yeah.
In the NFL, if the quarterback give themselves up, or they're going out of bounds, or even a runner, any player that got the ball going out of bounds, and you blindside block somebody.
Yeah.
What do they call that? The words
was it a defenseless player or something, because they're trying to catch the ball or they're running. Yeah.
He was a defenseless civilian. Was he going down right away? Did he want to go to jail? Probably not, right? Yeah. Whatever. But he could not fight with you.
Yeah.
You're hitting him like he stole your girl.
Yeah. It was definitely personal, man. And we here at the Perspective 217, we're one, we don't work for, any of those agencies down there. We weren't involved. We weren't there. This is all, our perspective as far as what has been put out to the mass, through the mass media.
Right.
But viewing that video looked very personal, like it was something, like there was some type of connection prior to that. That's just my own assumption, because, like you have to be pretty damn pissed off, or you've had to have some type of contact with this person before in order for you to bring that type of force, bring that type of, to bring that type of
aggression, man.
Aggression.
To be that aggressive,
Absolutely.
There has to be some type of emotional attachment there.
Agreed.
You doing your duty does not bring that type of force.
Correct. It should not. Absolutely.
So I don't really know what there's some rumors out there, right? And we don't really work on rumors. We're the Perspective. We give our opinion and views, but we don't really work on rumors because I haven't had any solid evidence that rumor is true. But that there was some connection there. But back to them being African American officers. I don't care if they were black or white. Evil is evil.
Period.
They were evil in their actions. They took actions that were unbecoming of a civilian. Not even we're talking about an officer who's supposed to be held at a higher standard. Their actions were unacceptable under any circumstance.
Absolutely.
In the circumstances they were in, like he didn't have a weapon, right? You know what I mean? He wasn't, you know what I mean? He didn't have like a knife or a brick. And I can understand if you about to hit somebody else with a brick, if he was trying to hit somebody else with a brick or something that can cause great bodily harm to
any deadly weapon at that point in time, but yeah, nothing.
Then that type of force would be accepted. Mass media wise, it may not be, but you do what you got to do to stop the threat at that point.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a threat.
Correct.
He was a flight risk. But when did they stop allowing you to use deadly force for flight risk, even under committing a felony offense?
Right.
That was before we became the police.
Yeah. That shouldn't be a death sentence though, because you flee. Now, granted, I get it. You know, it's hard to explain if you've never actually been in those shoes, because and I'm by no means making no excuses for them, because they are dead wrong. Absolutely. Whatever comes to them as far as their indictment, they need to do every bit of that. Absolutely. So I'm not taking anybody's side. My point is this. You know, there are certain mannerisms. There are certain things that are stated. You know, you have your adrenaline going. You know, there's bits and pieces of information that are coming out. So, you know what I'm saying? So the totality of the circumstances, what we use quite a bit, man, we don't know. We don't know what the totality of the circumstances with, even ranging from there might have been some kind of possible love interest involved. We don't know, but it still doesn't give them the authority to treat him like that, to handle him like that, to basically take his life like that. Now, I do want to shift here real quick because we got about 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And I want to get your input on this, my brother. The total time for these former officers, right, to be located, convicted, charged, and indicted, right? 20 days is what I'm hearing, right? 20 days from the time the incident happened, the time the DA stepped in, you know, the time that, you know, everything is, you know, the wheel turning. 20 days. Is that unheard of? Or is that one?
I've never heard of it.
Ever.
Now, I can't say it's unheard of because I don't know everything, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. There may be some situations out there that I just haven't heard about, right? Mm-hmm. But I haven't heard of anything moving that fast. And even in civilian side, bro. Like, you know what I mean? The people who get caught red-handed for murder, they stuff don't move that fast.
Agreed. No, we're not saying they shouldn't. We're not saying that at all.
Right. But
we're just saying.
So here's something that came up to me. Like somebody actually brought this up to me. All these other officers and their circumstances who actually didn't look like us. Why was the unions jumping in? Why was, you know what I mean, all this other stuff when they were wrong too?
Yeah.
They were blatantly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The circumstances were a little different, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There was weapons involved, or there was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
or none, right? You know what I mean? It was different circumstances, but why now do you choose to make the expedited example
in 2023?
Is it because they didn't have the backing? I mean, I want to kind of jump into the whole of it real quick. I mean, we got about 5 minutes. Is it because they didn't have the backing to keep them up off of them? Or is it because of it was physical in nature to where it was extreme aggravated battery, not just I made a mistake. You know what I mean? There's no way they could say they made a mistake.
Was it so egregious that they just said?
That's the word I was looking for.
Was
it so egregious?
We're not jumping into this at all.
They're just like, look, you're guilty, right? You know what I mean? You're wrong. I don't care what you did. You know what I mean? We're firing you, and everybody's connected to you. We're except for that bigger dude who just came out here recently that I was like, okay, dang, why are we just not hearing about the taser guy? You know what I mean? Taser face. That's what I'm calling. You know, why are we just now hearing about him? And he's just now getting relieved of duty. He wasn't even relieved of duty.
20 days, brother. Listen.
How did we miss him? Because he wasn't in that picture?
Well, I don't think this investigation is over.
No,
I mean, they've already looked into EMS as far as, what they did and did not do.
Right.
There's I think 2 sheriffs that were involved. So I think that investigation is going on.
Fire department personnel.
Yeah. So I don't think this investigation is over. I think it this thing might turn pretty broad, man, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see, man, because there's, again, that's probably what 10 people that we named right there,
right?
And nobody did anything for an hour,
or did something,
correct,
right? Or did something that was to the detriment of the young man's life.
Yeah. So again, man, being this profession, man, a decade plus, man, I've never seen it expedited to this level. You know what I'm saying? Now, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? That's another onion, a peel of this onion. You know what I'm saying? Is this going to be the blueprint now for law enforcement officials, man, if they get in that kind of bind, because everything, is really, like I said, has been about accountability. You know what I'm saying? If you do something, that's blatantly wrong, then, there needs to be accountability. So we're definitely on that side. There definitely needs to be accountability. It's just the fact that, this was expedited like no other. I know I haven't heard of any cases that's moved that fast. So we'll see how this goes moving forward.
Yeah. So to the family, because I've been avoiding saying his name, of Tyree Nichols.
Mm-hmm.
Here from Perspective217, we're praying for you. We, whether you're religious or not, whether you have a higher power or not, that's how we do. So we're going to be praying for you, for your comfort, for that something is gained from this tragedy, not just the loss of life, but something is gained, productive, not just beyond them being fired and prosecuted.
Facts.
So some changes, being put forth that leads to better policing, that leads to better interaction amongst human beings. Right. That's what I have for that, Kel. Do you have anything? Close us out.
No, sir. You said it perfectly there, my brother. You said it perfectly.
Well, this is our first show back. This one was a little heavy. We tried to not dive into this right out the gate.
We're back.
Right. But we'll be back at y'all each week, Lord willing, without any other pauses. It's the Perspective 217, and we're out.